Good morning. Well, good morning to every one of you. This is yours truly, Mr. O. Welcome to another time to interact and to learn, all right, and to grow ourselves. These are things we do from time to time. I know I've not been up for the whole week because I've not been feeling so well, but today we are up again. All right, but pardon me, my voice is a little bit down, but we'll do our best. Okay, so share this video, invite somebody, and let us learn. Today we are talking about relationships. For some time now, I've been talking about it. I've done a video on it, and I believe to add a second voice will be very, very important. So today I've invited a known face to this page, and I believe we'll try our best to delve into all aspects of our relationships. I mean, the humankind was created for relationships, family, spiritual, physical, well, all kind of relationships we are in. Be it love relationship, be it financial. I mean, even students. I even talked about teacher-student relationships before on my page. So these are all things we may delve into in relation to our personal growth and also in relation to our life as people. All right. So without wasting my time, let me bring our resource personnel who is a coach, an MBIT trained coach, the first of its kind in Africa. He's the president of the Coaches Federation in Ghana, and he's doing tremendous job, doing trainings all over the world and changing lives. And I believe he's going to add his voice as much as we can. So invite your friends, invite your family members. Let us learn. Let us add your question. Let's hear your questions in the comment section, and he will do his best to address them. All right, Coach Scoff, welcome to Mr. O.com.
As usual, Fleet, your subject or themes are very all encompassing. They have basically touching lives and its needs. It's like a 360 approach to how life must be lived and circumvented. So
Yeah.
I think I remember when I saw, is it in January? I did
Mhm,
something on relationship. Why is it important to go into relationships? And
mhm,
I remember I looked at what must I do on my personal level? Who must I be? What kind of relationship should I have with myself?
yeah.
And so when I saw you also do something on that regard, I said, why not? Instead of us to do separate subject matter, why don't we join our heart and minds together and let's see what we can share with our mutual audience. And
Yeah.
it's something we really have not, you know, we've boxed and limited relationship to romance.
Yeah.
So a lot of us have not cultivated the skill, the know-how in
Mhm,
forging relationships. And
yeah.
interestingly, what you are not good at with yourself, you cannot be good at with others.
Mhm,
Or what you have not continuously mastered, if you take them into private relationship, it becomes very difficult. So
wow.
somebody says, oh, my husband or my wife is so difficult at home, but when he goes outside, is that it is because the person you are dealing with has dual personality. They, they,
Okay.
they lack they lack the symmetry of of being true to themselves. That is what we call it authenticity. And that is where I will want to lift today's conversation from.
Okay.
Authenticity.
Authenticity.
Being the grounds on which all forms of relationship must be built on.
Okay.
Because if I remember what I said, anyone who is not authentic with himself or herself, there is no way the person will be authentic in other areas of their lives. That is how come there are so many exploitative, abusive relationships out there. Because if you look at the works of Gabor Mate and the works of Antonio Damasio, Dr. Antonio Damasio, if you look at amazing works by other people in different fields, you notice that people who are going through personal relational crisis will definitely put their relations or people whom they associate with also through the same thing. Or like those you and I know, those who have got dual personality, those who are in this dark tetrad spheres, they live good out there because there is somebody they are demonizing back home. And so it makes relationship a very difficult subject area to deal with. But let's take it from the perspective of authenticity. What does authentic self-relationship mean? Authentic self-relationship basically goes to buttress the fact that you are an individual who can do as simple as a SWOT analysis. What are my strengths as an individual with myself? See, what are my strengths as individual with myself? What are the things I do with ease with myself that I know it goes to buttress the kind of human being I am? What are the opportunities does this strength I have when it comes to human relations? Because when I exercise it with myself first, I'm able then now explore and deploy it with others. And you know, one of the people I follow deeply in the subject area of epigenetics, human evolution is Bruce Lipton. And Bruce Lipton suggested that the human being is made up of 50 trillion cells. 50 damn trillion cells. And these cells is what, when put together, we will call it I'm a human being. Because from my head to my toe, all of us, when we break us down to the cellular level, each of the cells are sitting on their own. And the 50 trillion of them is what makes me a human being. And how do these cells live together? They live together through communication. They live together, making us full-blown human beings through collaboration. They live together, forming what we call communities. That is how come a community of cells is what forms my lips. It's a community of cells that forms my ear. It's a community of cells that forms my hair. So whatever we label as hand, hair, tongue, parts of the body, they are this community of cells that comes together that forms all these aspects we will be calling dedicated hand, legs, mouth, hair, everything. It's community. So first, at a cellular level, we are a community. At a cellular level, we are a community with a purpose. At a cellular level, we use collaboration. At a cellular level, we use communication. At the cellular level, we use connections. So, as a full-blown human being, at your cellular level, you are a microcosm of community, connection, collaboration, communication. So, when you as an individual, you don't come to the table with yourself with the ability to talk, to communicate with yourself, so that you're able to tell where are your strengths when it comes to you, the individual. What is the relationship threshold between you and yourself? I call it me, myself, and I. The throwing of you. Where is that? Because when you have not been able to master the relationship you have with yourself, you know, if you want to see how, I said something that if you want to see how quality the relationship you have yourself with, check how you treat your private part. And you have heard me talk about the pelvic intelligence a lot. And that is it. Your true essence, the reason why you are who you are a human being, is your pelvic intelligence. So if you don't have a certain care for your private part, You don't have a certain care for what you eat, because if all that you need is a fuel for what you do, you eat anything at all. For survival, you eat anything at all. That is more or less like one of our primal need, survival. So you eat anything at all. So you don't even care about the quality of your gut. And we are our microbiome is what sends signals to this our cephalic brain, the head brain. And if you don't have quality relationship with yourself, you are not able to even assess the quality of your heart coherence. You are not able to understand the value your heart brings to the table. Then if you don't have good relationship with yourself, you don't even check your skin. Recently, I was talking to a client who was going through a lot of stuff, and I was troubleshooting. Then I was asking questions, and what was so beautiful was that Mr. O, one of the evidence to suggest that she was not taking good care of herself was her skin. One of the evidence that she was not taking good care of herself was her skin.
Wow.
The other evidence was her hair. The other evidence was, you see, when as a woman, blood is not flowing right in your system, it even affects your menstruation. So when we explored who she is to herself, a lot of this evidence showed up. There are a lot of men I have also coached, and you get to hear that a lot of men don't have good relationship with themselves, because we have been programmed, and our quality of life is measured in what we do out there or what we do for people. So if you want to assess the quality of relationship a man you have with yourself, check your wardrobe. Check your fingernails. Check the color of your urine. Check the rate of your bowels. Check your self-grooming. There are a lot of men. Oh, me, I have only three pants, trousers, my 4 boxer shorts, my singlet. Oh, then I'm good to go. It's a survival relationship. You are not being a man. You are being a savage. It's a savage.
To yourself.
Yes. To yourself. It's savagery. Because if you are to have quality relationship with yourself, you will notice that how you appear in public is not for the applause of others. It is one of the conduits to establish your self-esteem, your self-confidence. Look, you meet people, just observe their teeth coloration. It tells you how they don't take care of themselves. Just observe the patterns on their tongue. It will tell you, because when you read deeply, for instance, one of the things I explored, that it is for a guy to feel he's gotten infections like candidiasis, white. A guy should sense it faster than a woman will sense it. But you see, guys spread these kind of infections faster than women, because a lot of guys are not even sensitive to changes in their bodies. Because we don't have a lot of sensitive relationship with ourselves, we don't know. The same way that I have had deeper conversations with professionals, gynaes, doctors, and they wanted to understand what will make a woman not even know she's gotten white. Because her body begins to send signal, but she is not sensitive to the signals. Like I said, we are a community of cells. And each of the cells in their community are responsible for certain dedicated things to make us human beings. Okay, if you look at neurotransmitters, that comes from the nerves. Then look at hormones that drive through our bloodstream. If you are not in knowledge, if you are not in awareness, how all this play out to make you a full human being, then you lack quality relationship with yourself.
Mm. So before we can even establish a good relationship with other people, because as a teacher, I need to have a relationship with my students. As a banker, I need to have a relationship with my, customers. As whichever profession you are in, you need a relationship with the subordinates or your superiors. And you are saying that before we can even have that quality level of relationship, we need to have a relationship with ourselves as human,
Yes.
and trying to understand that first before we can build that on. So
It is it is
Mhm.
important. It is important in universal law, or what people
Mm.
call the golden rules of the world.
Yeah,
What you have not given to yourself first, you cannot share
we
it with
cannot
anybody.
give. Yeah,
So that is how I'm saying that this conversation is premised on authenticity,
yeah,
because it is in authenticity that you are able to come forth for who you are. You know,
mm.
when we're growing up, if your mother or your father catches you doing the wrong thing in public, and right there in public they spank you first, you
Mhm.
notice that nobody again in the community will even want to talk about what you did,
Yeah,
because a certain exercise of responsibility has been expressed, because it is
mm.
relational.
Yeah,
Then also those days, if rather a member or head of the community find you doing something and they beat you or they lash you, when you go home, your parents
that's
don't
it.
lash you for the wrong thing done. They lash you for the
Exactly.
shame you have brought onto
Brought
them.
to them. Exactly.
So you see how the context of authenticity in relationship require.
Yeah.
So if whatever you want to be, if you are an accountant, you are a teacher, you are a doctor, that is how come recently there's a survey in Ghana that a lot of our medical doctors are on substance abuse. A lot of
Wow.
our medical professionals are on substance abuse.
Wow.
Because if you look at that part of the world, if the person is intelligent, the parents can afford medical school and everything. It is
Hmm.
so easy for the person to go into some of this field.
Yeah.
So the person is not called to medicine. The person is intelligent towards medicine.
Mm.
And if they don't have the right relationship with themselves that connect also their purposes,
Hmm.
when life hits at them, there's a difficulty. And life will always test us for what we claim we are. Life will always test us.
Mm. I see. I see. And so is there a disconnect? No, is there, you have built the basis for us. Now let us see how connecting with ourselves can transcend beyond ourselves. So into our personal growth, into the really type of relationships we have. Because I was talking about, I talked about relationships in about three folds.
Mm.
I looked at it, student teacher. I centered on the classroom recently, and I also centered on our universal self, where I believe humans, our relations in the recent past has become transactional. And that video is on YouTube as well, so people can go and watch. But you are bringing it from a different perspective in today's discussion. So I wanted to connect it to personal growth, professional growth in other areas of our life, so that as much as possible, because you have also talked about relationship being transactional before,
Yeah.
as much as possible, how can we harness all these, scientific, things that God has already deposited in us to make ourselves better and to have quality relationships?
See, when I was growing up, I grew to find my dad sometimes get intoxicated with liquor. So at a tender age, I began orienting myself not to have any relationship with liquor. So as a matter of fact, anytime I take liquor, I will have my nose blocked. And I know it is my neurobiology based on what I have said to it through epigenetics that is getting me not to have a good relationship with that. So you see, my immediate environment got me to build a relationship with myself in a certain way. So when you find me passionate about my purpose as a coach, when I'm training, I'm doing stuff, I'm not doing that for the public applause that will come out, because I am sensitive to the knowing that however I show up for my environment, including people who come my way, it is the same way I get to expand my knowing. I think you have heard me talk about quantum intelligence, or you've heard me talk about quantum being or quantum coherence, quantum entanglement, and everything. See, the more your knowing expands, all your three brains has the ability to do what we call neuroplasticity, basically expanding the threshold of your knowing, their understanding, their insight, and everything. It is able, your brains are also able to grow new neurons, what we call neurogenesis. And the more that is occurring, the more they connect the threshold and everything, the more we call neurosynaptics. That means the connection is deep and it's the same way in relationships. You see, people who don't have good relationship with themselves are not also able, because what you have not done with yourself, you cannot cultivate it. Is that not why I remember one of the teachers I never liked in my life, I think class 1, class 2, was my French teacher. For some reason, they didn't have good human skills. I don't think it has something to do with the French language. Perhaps it has something to do with how these French teachers were also taught how to learn French. So it always carries something along with it. So even in the teaching behind it, it's a certain something you tap into. And this is common with relationships, because people who don't have good relationship with themselves, because we all love to talk about relationship in the matters of romance, it is the same thing we take into those places. So like a teacher, like an accountant, like an engineer, like whatever, into customer care, in leadership, people who don't have quality self-relationships are the people which, because we say people don't leave jobs, they leave their leaders or they leave their managers. Why? Because we are human relations. We build relationship, not transactionship, as I always call it. Because now, even from the spheres of family, people relate with you based on what you bring to the table. Transactionship. In communities, people have a way they approach and associate with people with status, honorable, pastor, doctor, engineer. There is a way we glamour those things because we associate with the statuses, and that is also transactionship. We don't relate to the people based on the quality of their humanness. We relate with people according to the quality of their labels.
See.
And where there is label, there is actually transaction, because it's trade.
Yeah.
So even in the job place, in what we do we first see the human in people, or we see the labels attached to them, or the 3 letters or 2 letters against their names, prefix or the suffix? So that is what I'm saying, that if you come across somebody, look, I had a call from a certain prominent person during the week, and the person introduced himself with his first and last name. Though I know his designation. You see, I come from a place of intellectual humility. So I still accorded him that designation I know him to be.
Yeah.
But it didn't take away my relationship to his humanness. I met another prominent person in another field, and we're talking, and the person asked, so what took you into coaching? I said, well, it is not what even what took me to coaching. I think coaching found me. It was a call. I was called into coaching. I didn't just jump into coaching. It's a call. So what I do is out of the love, the compassion, the courage, the creativity. That is what I explore with what I do. Then I also asked, so this is an outstanding surgeon. I'm telling you, one of the top surgeons in Ghana. I asked her, so doc, what also? She said, for me, I grew up where I found my mom wearing this white overcoat because the mom was also in the health profession. Then we explored, because if you don't love what you do, it is tiring, it becomes taxful, it becomes. So you see, we were able to bring our humanness to the fore, not the labels and the titles we carry. So you see, when you need your title, when you need your labels, before you can show up for the quality, the efficiency, and the effectiveness you are in a transaction.
Wow, that is deep.
Yeah.
Coach, is it so? Look at it this way. Has it not always been like that from the creations, from the times? God created man and he had a relationship. Was it not transactional? Was it not?
No.
Was it not worship me and I'll give you that? Do that, I'll give you that. Was it not like that?
So
Has it
you
has it not been like that from time?
come from a faith that if you read Genesis 1:26, 26, 27 down there, even when God wanted to make man, he had to constitute a community. That is how if you read it. It says, let us. Us means how do we call it? A collective word. Us.
Okay. Yeah.
Let us make man in our own image and likeness.
Yeah.
Then he went and said, I give you dominion and everything here and there and stuff. And the Bible also says that he once in a while goes to visit and commune with them.
With them, yeah.
There is something in the Bible that excites. The Bible says that God says, let's reason together. Come and let's reason together. Okay. It is only in relationships you will find these phrases, because in ontology, there is something we study about languaging. That if you look at we say creation story, and God called forth this, and the first day he called forth this, and the sixth day he called forth this. You see, it was calling forth. What was he calling forth? Languaging. So whatever that is going on in who we are, it manifests through our languaging. So if you hear somebody into contract or into things and you hear them, you hear the eyes a lot. You hear the eyes a lot. There is one doctor, Dan Siegel, with a philosophy called the MUI, the me and we. If you really break down the human being, we are not an I. We are a collective of cells. So if something is a collection of something, it cannot be singular. It can be us and we. Okay. Then because we are in a container in relations with others, we come forth as a me. So that's what Dr. Dan Siegel says, me and we. So as me, but the real challenge is that a lot of us don't have those relationships, that symbiotic relationship between the me and the we I am. We don't have it. And it is because we have not courted, nurtured, we've not fed, we've not invested in that. We'd rather go out there looking for it. Look, and we've discussed in the past how trauma, generational trauma, intergenerational trauma, environmental influence through epigenetics above the genes, the phenotype, how epigenetics can alter our phenotype and everything. All this goes to battle, because if you are aware that you are more than just as you deem yourself, then it gets you to want to take steps. Look, there is what we call the electromagnetic field of the heart. It is one of the ways we relate to and with people. Okay. So even before I come close to you and engage, our hearts can entangle. our heart can entangle. And it is what even makes it more profound. That is how when you go into the quantum intelligence, there is a research that they did where they placed two gamers. They were playing game in two different rooms, and they were measuring them to see how the height of their quantum entanglement. It will shock you. They entangled in the quantum.
Wow.
So this goes to buttress that. Yes, this goes to buttress that if the quality of my meing and weeing are not strong, and I encounter you, and you are not healthy, potentially show me your friend, and I'll show you your character. So you see where it is coming from.
I see.
So the quality of relationships we nurture across board is not only a matter of what others did unto us. The other time I was explaining how we become susceptible to toxic relationships. Our sweat, the glands that come out of our body, the excretions that come. Do you know we excrete our toxic emotions? We excrete them.
Okay.
The same way we also excrete our good emotions. The same way we excrete our good intentions. The same we do everything. So when your container is full of toxicity, whether consciously or unconsciously, whether by intergenerational trauma or on your presence trauma, people can smell us. Just like dogs can smell. Is that not why you can walk into a room, people don't know you for the first time, but for some reasons people don't like you? What are you carrying? So when I ask the question, what is the fragrance of your leadership? What is the fragrance of your personality? What is the fragrance? I'm not talking about the cologne you are using, because even the cologne we use, for example, Mr. O, when your heart, when you are full of bitterness, when you are full of rancor, envy, full of too much trauma and everything, I'm telling you, there are some colognes when you put on you, it will generate negative feedback for you.
Oh, okay.
Because the chemicals coming out of your body in reaction to the cologne you are using will give you bad odor. It will. So that is how come if, for instance, your armpit is smelling, your pelvic intelligence, you don't take care of it, so it is also smelling. The first point of call is your nostril. Your body sends the signals that, Jack, we don't smell good. It's the same way to tell you that you don't have quality relationship with yourself. That is how come your body is telling you we don't smell good. Yeah. Then over a period of time, you ignore it. Your body will stop sending that signal to you. Then it is others who will be picking it up, because your nose, you said to yourself, it is not irrelevant if we smell. So that's why you didn't pay attention.
Yeah.
So it is imperative for us to understand that our quality of relationship with ourselves has got a big bearing on our purpose, has got a big bearing on how we do the things we do, has got a big bearing on how we carry ourselves, has got a big bearing on the kind of relationship. Let's say if it is professional relationship. Look, from age 20, when I found myself in this line of practice I am in, I call her Sage. I have Sage like Betty Sprue that I met in 2000, who is still in my circle of influence. Her sister, Joyce Christie, is still in my circle of influence. In my MBIT community, Wilbert, Jeremy, Reb, my own mates, I do coaching global mates, Ruth, at executive coaching level, I have Mindy Yeg, because the more I keep building me and expanding that which I am within, the more I get to meet like-minded people. So that when we sit and we are nerding over coaching, nerding over neuroscience of all those stuffs, you see, your body feels serenaded, soothing. You see, it gets nourished, it gets nurtured, it gets expansive and everything. Why? Is that not why Jesus said, "Who touched me?" And I
Wow.
know the disciples were like, "You Jesus, to you are something. Look at you are in the crowd,
Yeah.
and you are saying, 'Who touched me?'"
Mm.
If Jesus didn't have a virtue relationship with himself, he
Mm.
couldn't have said, "Who touched me?" Because he said, "Virtue has gone out of me." This is self-relationship. So that is how come when, as a teacher, if you don't have good relationship with yourself, do you know what you are doing? You are in a transaction. You are doing something for the pay grade. It is
Okay.
not about the transformation, the impact, because you don't see lives at stake before you. You only
Mm.
see objects that must be exchanged for your pay grade.
See.
Why? You enter a hospital, you encounter a physician, a general practitioner, and
Mm.
you even forget you are there to talk about your headache. The
Mm.
conversation gets so deep and expansive, such that so a lot of sickness are not medicine to be taken. It is the choking of traumas, the pain, the
Mm.
unforgiveness, the bitterness, the all those stuff. Sometimes it is just conversational. And when the two of you have, one of you have got a higher vibration and concentration, you are able to be looped into it. That is how come the quality of your heart fragrance, the quality of the I call it the song of your heart is important.
Mm. It's important. Yeah. So it means that is why doctors, nurses need to develop this aspect of their own personal life, because you are dealing with humans, you are relating to patients, you are dealing with, and as teachers, I mean, recently when I said it, I was like, if you don't have good relationship with your students, you struggle to even, I mean, impact knowledge to them. So it is very crucial. But I like the aspect you are bringing. I mean, now I'm understanding a lot of things, because if I don't have that personal love for myself, I mean, because as you said, there are people who don't even love themselves. They don't even know
Of
what it
course,
takes.
of course.
Yeah.
It's very profound when you look at even the neuroscience of it. Sometimes it keeps blowing my mind, and I have experienced it firsthand. I keep experiencing it. So that is how come um, people don't have fulfillment in what they do.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it is
People don't.
transaction.
Yes,
Yeah.
and transaction is bite me, let me bite you. That is
Yeah.
transaction. Do
Yeah.
me, let me do you. An eye for an eye.
Mm-hmm.
That is transaction. Okay, but if you come from a place, I remember, I think last year, last 2 years, I was on the Healing of Memories workshop, and when I came back for like 3 days, my wife could tell something has altered about me. I become
Yeah.
quiet. I become withdrawn because the emotions the young people brought to the workshop were heavy, and as a
Mm.
practitioner, you see, I need to be able to envelop them in my higher vibration and concentration so that they go back healed. Then,
Yeah.
because I continuously heal myself daily, I can be able to dissipate the toxic I carried from them.
Mm.
So, if I have not nurtured a home that I can come back to, or if I don't have relationships I can call on to find a way of fluidly dissipating all the negative energies, I'll come and beat my wife at home when she's at no fault.
Yeah.
I'll come and pour it. We call it misplacement of anger. I'll come and misplace on my children. So because I know
Mm.
in my line of duty what I have responded, the call I have responded to about human lives, I am continuously nurturing and nourishing me. I am
Self.
continuously
Mm.
having community with myself,
Mm.
communication, collaborations. And you know what? Science has proven that the place we get so creative is when we are in love with ourselves.
Mm.
Yeah. You know, they have proven that when we are in what we call the rest and digest, or when in our autonomic nervous system, we are in a place of safety. The sense
Place
of
of
absolute
safety.
safety, and the sense of absolute safety is an evidence of self-love. It's an evidence of self-esteem, the evidence of self-confidence, the evidence of self-sufficiency, the evidence of being satisfied even with little, because life means so much to you than anything. Then we become so, look, that's when we operate in the quantum. I think there is a movie where the lady turned into a quantum. At the end of it, she joined light and she was there. And the doctor school, I think it was Morgan Freeman, who was a
Morgan
doctor later,
Freeman, yeah, Morgan
who
Freeman
was,
movie, yeah,
that is
yeah.
what I am talking about. That you must come to the point where you and the universe, you are so entangled. Look,
Yeah.
there are times you call and we get to talk 1 hour and we don't stop talking because our neurons are firing. We have a very good relationship. But there's somebody else you call and you struggle even to talk. There are some people you don't want to be. Look, and the more you expand your viewing, the more your body knows the boundaries where to protect you without you. And at a subconscious level, your body protects us. But here you are that at the subconscious level, your body is fighting with you within. So you are not even alert when you have an intruder.
Yeah.
You are not even aware when somebody is prying you into abuse. You are not aware because what is going on internally? Your subconscious is trying to find calm, is trying to find balance, is trying to find regulation. So relationship, anytime you hear it, goes far beyond a subject matter of romance. It comes first from us, so we can expand, like I explained in the classroom setting, in the field of healthcare. There are some doctors, when you meet them, you meet them, you realize that, oh, come on. I think recently, Kobe Ampofo, I think she too is into research. I think she lives in the US or so. She said that our kids can be interested. They can be all sick. So you take them to hospital, and the hospital environment, as if something has been flickered around them. So they start running. They are being bubbly. They are being sweet. Then I was explaining to her, you see, when you tap into the environment, epigenetics take place. What do you call disease or he or she being sick? It is a call to want to connect to a community, an environment. Because sometimes we bring all this stuff. We rather carry things and bring them home. That is how come when kids go to school, they pick things up.
Yeah.
They pick infections and everything. That is what it is.
Exactly.
It's relationship. So if you have not done all the inner homework, you've not done the individual homework, look, oh, marriages are breaking, and now there is so high divorce rate, and there is all the look, you say everything.
Yeah.
Then I keep saying, the challenge is not the institution called marriage.
Marriage, yeah.
It's not marriage. It is the various traumatized individuals who enter into that institution. Exactly. That goes to corrupt the institution. It is not the institution called marriage. You don't even know what, you've come across people, I don't even know my body, I don't know what means we can talk. Sexually, I don't even know what means they can talk. Because all that they know, they have been programmed like, oh, as for a woman, you don't need to deny your husband this. As for a man, you must be responsible. So our life has become monotonous. Our lives have become linear. For example, by 12 years in our system, you have to be in GSS 2. So by 15 years, we're done with GSS 3. By 18 years, we're done with senior high school. By 24 years, we're done with university. By 28 years, you should be married. By 32, 35, you should have at least 2 kids, 3 kids. So before you realize, at 45, you're taking care of kids. 55, 60, you've not lived any life. You have only become a father, a mother. But you, the individual, you have not lived. You see, that is how come when you read the regrets people have in life, it is the number one is they didn't take care of themselves. The research that the regret people have on their dying bed is they didn't take care of themselves. And taking care of yourself is what? It's relations.
It is relationship.
It's relating with yourself. Yeah.
That is very, very important, Coach. We thank you so much. Those of you who are now joining us, we are discussing relationship, but this time we are looking at it from a very different perspective because we've talked about relationship for quite some time now. But to be able to develop, you need to be able to have a relationship with yourself. As we were in school those days, somebody would say, "Man, know thyself." Knowing
Yes.
yourself is a big deal in trying to develop good relationship. In fact, as a teacher, as a nurse, in all our profession, and I believe if we can do that, all our institutional relations and everything will be better because as people, if you don't have self-love, what are you going to give out when you go to the hospital as a nurse? What are you going to give to that patient? What are you going to give as a politician to your constituents? What are you going to give as a teacher to your students? As you said, we go there to dump anger on these people that have been entrusted into our hands. So it is very important we understand this, I mean, topic of relationship from this perspective. Because if we start developing our young ones now to understand and to appreciate themselves, a lot of relationship issues will go down.
Yeah.
And as coach said, the marriage is not the institution is not a problem. It is the individual in the institution that are causing the problems. So if you are broken and you go in the marriage, you take your brokenness there. If you don't love yourself, you don't even know yourself, you don't even know who you are. How can you relate to somebody else? So at the end of the day, it becomes give me and I give you this, and we pay each other. It's just like money, currency. We just collect and we do a trade, and it becomes trade relationship. You know, so that is what we are talking about. And if you are just joining us, please share this video. Invite somebody to watch and learn. And if you have any questions, please put it in the comments so that we can answer. Because in a very few minutes we'll be bringing the curtains down. So share your questions, share your views, and let's read them and let's interact. All right. And coach, does it mean, as I said from the beginning, does it mean that even as counselors, coaches, and things, what is the effect of some of these things on your job? Because as you are saying, you receive all the bad energy and you take it home. How do you find a balance? Because I know some of our colleagues are counselors. I know some of them are pastors. I know some of them are, I mean, people, I know pastors watch this program and other things. So, what will you advise or tell them?
Let me use, for example, the pastors.
Mm,
There is a typical example in the Bible called Eli or Eli. That prophet of God forgot to take care of his home, and that allowed his children to become a mess of prophets or priests unto the people. David was doing everything right with God and for the people, and forgot his home. And we all know what happened in David's genealogy. So even just that is an example. Then recently, we have one of our own renowned counselors having gone through with me. When I put bits and pieces of all her submissions and stuff I've monitored, I can conclude that, you see, it is not the marriage she entered, it is where she's coming from.
so the signs were
And
there.
look, the signs were that if you track all the things she said about, I didn't even like the man, it is how we met, and look, the way she characterized everything concerning the very man she had the kids with, suggested that it was not the marriage. So that's what I was talking about, that when you yourself have not come to a greater relationship with yourself, any trade winds can sweep you into a destination. And for her, the destination that exposed that which she has not dealt with was marriage. So it was not marriage as institution.
Oh.
That was the problem. It is who they are that entered the institution.
I see.
2, if you look at Gabo Mati in one of his books, he said that he was so consumed in his work and practice as a clinician, a medical doctor, and everything that his home was breaking. Then when he started backtracking and finding, because he said he's ADD, attention deficiency disorder, then he noticed that dysregulation ongoing for him is what got him to be pursuing supposedly his passion. It was not passion. It was more or less as what others would drink alcohol to pacify their inadequacies. For him, it was overworking. And his home was in ruins. There is another surgeon, James R. Doty. He couldn't deal with his childhood traumas. So even when his material dreams came through, it fizzled out again. Lost the wife, lost the daughter, and everything. All because he had not done the internal regulation. He had not had that internal synchronicity, that internal alignment, that internal healing, that internal loving, that internal embodiment. He had not done all that. Yet he was a neurosurgeon, cutting others and sewing them together.
Wow.
Okay. Counselors, we've had professionals who committed suicide. It comes back to these fundamentals. What about the pastors who are able to coerce and program, massage people's minds? They go and give their homes. And I didn't even know what he said that I made me go. Sometimes it has nothing to do with spirituality. It has everything to do with how shallow you are in relationship with yourself. Look, dogs who attack people mostly sense a lot of inadequacies in you. Dogs.
Wow.
They like attacking people who already have fear embedded in them. So when you perspire, they sense the fear in you and they attack you. So this is what we take into all the other forms of relationships. Look at how some of us, our parents raised us.
Yeah. You
don't do anything about it. You are beaten as if you were a thief. This are all the epitome, because you see, the toxicity of self-relationship is what others call it trauma. And you see, our body keeps the score. It is true. Our body keeps the marks. It is true. You have a pelvic intelligence. That is how come when a woman gets raped, why does that distort his personality and her humanity? When a young boy gets raped or sodomized, why does that disorient his or her personality? Because the core of your humanity is self-relational. Because when somebody permeates that, they have decoded a part of you. They have broken. That's why we say the person gets broken. What does the person get broken from? Those things happen, breaks that self-relationship. When a woman is raped, when a boy is sodomized, or when a boy is raped, you break them. That's what we call it breaking. They break your humanity. Suddenly, your soul, your spirit, your mind all gets disintegrated. It's the same thing. When you don't build this of you, you don't commune all of you, your cells, your neurons, you don't bring all to the table and all to the fore, you become a difficult person. And you see, where does attention deficiency comes from? I think I was watching one of the skits, and the gentleman was like, do you notice that in this friendship or whatever you call relationship, everything is about you? Anytime you need help, then you look for me. So it's not just the sex act. You use sex as a trade. When I thought it was loving, it was a trade. And a lot of relationship today, that's why I use the word transactionship. Or you have heard me say vaginapreneurs several times. You've heard me say that now the world is driven by vaginapreneurship and transactionship. It's no more relationship because and what is so funny is it is after the age of like 55 to 60, then the natural phenomenon to realize that from 70 going or even to live long, you need quality relationships. I my own the former director of the Institute for Healing of Memories, Father Michael Lapsley, I always cite his example. This man suffered a letter bomb that should have killed him because he lost 2 of his arms, lost an eye, lost an ear. I have had opportunity to go to close proximity. I know he has got the scars of the pitlet of the bomb all over his body and stuff.
Yeah.
Father will tell you, it was the love letters that were written across the globe that made him to find hope.
Wow.
You can never find hope when you lack self-love. You can never exercise your authentic look at there are women when you want to meet them, if they have not made up, they can't meet up with you because at the back of their own perceptions, they are not good enough, they don't appear enough.
Yeah. I've met few people like that.
They will never meet you without their makeup.
Yep.
Even in their own homes, I mean, just where they have to have the comfort and relaxation, they will never meet you.
Yeah.
It's like you have exposed their nakedness.
Yeah.
Whilst with self-loving, I'm not in competition with anyone. Yeah. I continuously want to become better version of me.
Myself.
Because as if you look at the surgeons use the knife. It must cut in a certain angle. It must cut in a certain direction. It must they concentrate that the life you have, the knife must enhance it. It must not destroy it. So they have to make sure the knife is in the right shape and form. This is what and who we must be unto others.
So there's a question here from a teacher who is asking, how can we relate this in checking disruptive behavior in our classrooms? I mean,
you know, as a coach, I would rather ask you, how disruptive are you with yourself? What patterns have you seen that you find that it is disruptive about you? Because our lives is about frequencies and energies. Because, and a lot of the time, the people you encounter, they are reflecting your own energy. A lot of the time. So your student could be reflecting an energy in you that you have not paid attention to. That's how it's showing up.
Wow.
Look, my son, Ingosra, there was an episode with Ingosra, and there was this teacher who was always finding fault with my son. And I told the teachers that he has gone through other teachers' hands and he had never encountered. And guess what? After he moved away from that teacher and moved to a different class or a higher class, a different relationship altogether with a different teacher.
Yeah.
So until we come to the knowing that the quality of self-love and knowing lives are at stake as teachers, as professionals, then we'll begin to do works on ourselves. I've come across people who say, Coach, I now acknowledge I have a lot of work to do with myself than I thought.
Yeah.
Look, I have had relationship coaching where they came planning to get married. By the 5th session, they agreed. Apparently, they were not ready to marry. Apparently, they didn't know themselves to even want to know each other. And never happened.
Yeah.
It plenty, many times. I've seen it. I've seen people go through divorce and say, I now understand even the marriage shouldn't have occurred. Because if I don't know myself, how do I want to be a support for kids who are still unraveling whom they can be?
They can be. So because the disruption in the class comes in varied forms. A student will be disruptive if he or she is idle, if he or she is feeding on an energy from you, or if he or she is not even getting the right relation from home. I mean, it can be so many facets.
It
So
will
to
be
be able to,
bounced on you if they
on
take it
you,
from
yeah,
home. And you see, it's like virus and antivirus.
mm,
I keep on seeing what I am doing as a coach and the level of coaching I offer.
yeah,
It's it's not mechanistic. It is not
yeah,
like bolt and nut.
yeah,
I'm not dealing with human mechanics.
yeah,
I'm dealing with human beings. And so as a coach, as a trainer, as a consultant, I am always focused, concerned, and compassionate about the being in the humus.
yeah, yeah,
And the being in the humus requires certain concentration, certain vibration, certain energy, certain
mm,
awareness, certain knowledge, certain insight, certain investment into me.
yeah,
You have been so close to see how much it costs to take any course in any of the areas I
oh
do.
yeah,
Why do I take them? I don't take them because I want accolades. I take them because it widens my knowing.
yeah,
It expands my awesomeness. It expands my frequency and vibrations. It expands the fields of my magnetic. It expands my quantum.
yeah,
Whilst there are others, it is just because they went to school, they become coaches and that status. They are static coaches. So it is a solution they are looking for. But no, look, I have had
yeah,
clients who came for looking for something. They came for looking for, let's say, leadership.
yeah,
And they get blown away like, I thought this was just a simple thing.
yeah,
Apparently, it is dealing with me. It is encountering me. It is
yeah,
birthing myself anew. If you have not birthed yourself, you can't aid. Look, a midwife who has gone through the process herself is a
understands.
bit different
Mm,
from the one who have never gone through the process or have already been only. So
yeah,
all this carry our experiences.
experiences.
If your antivirus is not strong, the child will bring it from home. The child will bring the virus from home and dump it with you. And you will take it from school and take it to your wife or your husband.
Yeah,
That is where the term is called misplacement of anger. You took it from
anger.
the office, took
Then
it
you
from the
went to dumb it
classroom,
home.
took it
Yeah,
from the and dump it home. And because you took it home, and that
mm,
is your comfort zone, it now begins to grow. So anytime you go home, you are taking it in. Anytime
mm,
you go, you're taking you wake up and realize that what am I doing? Then you
exactly.
disinfect, you format,
Mm,
reinstall, and put in antivirus in your home. So now you are a walking antivirus because we are memories. Any memory can be infected. We
infected.
are walking memories. We are
Yeah.
living memories. Every memory can be infected. Every memory can be intoxicated.
Mm. So, Joseph, I think one of the things, because with my experience as a teacher, both in Ghana, in the US as well, broadens and makes me understand what coach is talking about more deeply. Because if I know myself, mhm, if I know myself, if I love myself, if I understand myself, it makes it easier for me to also uh, relate to my students. All right. It makes it easier for me to also relate to my students. And in checking disruptive behavior in the classroom is of different level. I know the perspective from which you are coming. If you're in the US, disruption in the class comes from varied angles. And trust me, 90% of them, with my experience, 90% of those disruptions are based on the love those children or those students don't have.
Yeah,
They don't have it. Trust me.
yeah.
And they are looking for it, they are searching for it, they are expecting it from you, the teacher, to do a magic. Some students come to school looking up to you. They don't have anybody to look up to. Their fathers are in jail, their mothers are somewhere. Some of them are sleeping in trailers, some of them are homeless, and they are coming to you. So there's a lot of expectations.
And funny enough,
And
Mr. O, you, their teacher, too, you are empty. You are also dealing with your
exactly,
staffs. So when the
exactly.
two of you, when those two viruses meet, it crashes.
I always tell them that, look, there is a way we deal with these students. You need to look beyond just the students sitting in your classroom. And it comes from self-knowledge about some of these things. That is why we keep talking about these things on my page every now and then. It may seem monotonous, it may seem beyond you, but trust me, if you imbibe some of these things and you learn them gradually, you begin to see a change. And you affect these students. They come to you, and every student want to come to your class because they know that, hey, he has a certain energy that I want to connect to. You understand? So at the end of the day, you may have a control of your class in a certain direction. Look, you don't come to my class as a teacher and you have a total silence. No, I allow, good communication. I allow good conversation. I allow students to be a little disruptive. A little level of distraction is good, but not the kind that will distract academic, work. So because I know myself and I've come to that sense to place myself in a certain way in order to connect with these students. So if you can deal with disruption, just one of the things you should do is to connect with yourself. Then you can radiate that energy to these students. And look, it will surprise you. At the end of the day, some of them will leave your class and come back and say, like, man, I'm sorry I was talking and I was doing, because they now have, connected well, and they now understand the perspective from which you were coming. But in the immediate, in the face of it, it will look like there is chaos in your class. You are not able to control your class. You are a bad teacher. No, you are not. Because, coach, I said last week when I was doing the classroom relationship, video, that a lot of teachers don't even love themselves. They don't even know what it is.
No, hold on. Let me share this. One of the challenge is because people don't know who they are, and where they can be going. So right after school, I did not make the appropriate grade. So I said, they go to training college.
Exactly.
Go and learn a trade.
Exactly.
Go and become this. So it's all because your life is about transaction. Go and meet up. Sometimes your parents just want to get you, go and become a nurse. So they don't want you home. Go and become something with your life.
Yeah.
So when you go to meet the test, look, Mr. I keep saying that whatever you claim you are, the moment you confess, I am a teacher, I am a doctor, I am a nurse, I am a coach, I am a pastor, I am this, the universe will test you because you don't live in isolation. And some of the testing comes through, look, somebody was sent to me in coaching, and I told the person that I'm not a coach to come and change anything about you.
No.
I'm not here to coach you to fix anything about you.
No.
I am here to hold the space so you can have your own journey.
Yeah.
So you can begin to become aware about a lot of things you have not observed about you. You become to envelope your own self. You begin to explore. And for that person, that was the first time somebody could sort of hear him.
Yeah.
We call it see them, can feel, can sense. So actually we call it felt sense. So we got into certain careers and professions and practices because we wanted to make ends meet. Okay. Or so we have not worked in spaces where we did it out of self-love. If you come across a teacher in his field, he is not in a haste to become a politician.
Exactly.
He's not, if you meet a nurse in his field, he's not in a haste to become a medical doctor. If you meet and people who have that self-love and they are in their right purposes, they are the people also who exercise what we call intellectual humility. They don't use their status of doctoring, the status of teaching, the status of coaching. You don't see statuses. You first encounter their sweetness, their fragrances. You look, Dr. Dumisani. The first time I met Dr. Dumisani at the airport last year, May. Look, it was just an enveloping. When I met Wilbert in South Africa, I think 2021, there was something. When I met Kim Everett, when I met Betty Sprue, when I met, Yet, you see, I'm on my own journey, but I don't see statuses and labels. I see the greatness in them, and I'm able to tap into it because I don't walk in the might of labels.
Yeah.
Because I am in my call, because I am on my path of purpose, I don't look at the labels.
Exactly.
But when you are in there for the transactionship, you must have all the qualification, must have all the labels, you must have it. So you get stifled. I have people who have done 5 masters.
Oh yeah.
Their lives are not enough for them. They don't know what they're looking for. They
Yeah.
have done 2, 3, 4 doctorates.
Yeah.
Except it is coordinated, so they know that, oh, this doctrine, there is something in there I want to top up here. It is not the label, it is something unique in there. That is what I do. I'm not chasing for the labels.
No.
Look, I did not do. Look, SecTech. I studied visual art.
Yeah.
I studied visual art, textiles, graphic design, general knowledge in art. What has any of this got to do with coaching? What has it got to do with training? What has it got to do with today? I am so much soaked into the neuroscience of the things I am doing. Why? Because when you come forth as authentic, when you come forth as somebody with your sweetness, people tend to fall in love with what you do and who you are.
Exactly.
And others, you see, because you radiate the quality and the efficiency and the excellence. Look, I've never stood anywhere and lacked what to say when given the opportunity, even if it is 5 minutes, even when it is. I was not foretold, because every day and now I'm in the presence of my calling. I am reading something. Look at the books I get you to buy to send to me. It's not books that ordinary people will love to read, but me, I look for them to read.
Yes.
If you come, the videos I'm looking for to watch, the people in South Africa, I had opportunity to sit with Amalia and Kim. I was going into the master coach, MBIT master coach with them. And I loved that community we created, the 3 of us, the conversation, the deep of, look, there are other places too, I don't even want to talk. I just want to keep quiet because perhaps the dimensions and the level I will lift the conversation to, you can't match up. So I won't worry myself. I have had TV interviews and I decline. Who is my co-panel? Not because lives are at stake. Everywhere God gives opportunity to mount, like we are on this set. The way I am talking right now, if I'm given opportunity to meet presidents, that is the same compassion and passion I will speak with them. Because lives are at stake. It is not labels. And that is where self-quality relationship gets you to live. You walk in your essence. You walk in your authenticity. You walk in your purpose. You walk in your essential. You walk in the quality of your excellence. The Bible says that Daniel was distinguished and found excellent, yet he was in the land of oppression.
Exactly. Yeah. Coach, in fact, you have given us so much. And I like the dimension we took this relationship conversation today. And I'm looking forward for us to expand it more. I mean, we've done more than 1 hour, but I mean, I just couldn't stop because I'm learning myself. And I tell people all the time, a pastor told me, he said, look, anytime you are a pastor or you have an opportunity to stand somewhere to preach, if the sermon or whatever you are saying cannot affect you, then your job is not done. And this conversation has really affected me. It has given me a different perspective to things. And I believe in our daily conversations on these apps will be able to affect. I mean, these are not popular topics. These are not popular conversations. So I know I'm not even bothered about the view, but I know that the few can learn and change their own self. Our job is done. Our job will be done.
Thank you.
I know continuously we are going to be doing some of these things and changing the dynamics of the conversation. People look at relationship. I know when I put it in relationship, people tell, oh, they're talking about love. They are going to talk about this types of relationship. No, we are not going to list types of relationship. But these are the foundations of the very ones we have and how they are going and how people are looking at it, the perspective from which people are looking at it from. And we thank you so much. And we know this was impromptu. I mean, this wasn't planned like 2 months ago or 3 months ago. But we truly appreciate you. I know the viewers are impressed, and they have learned a lot. Those who paid attention have learned a lot. And I pray that we'll have another opportunity again to do this. And I mean, viewers, I thank you so much, and I appreciate you. I want you to share this video. Share to somebody, share to your church group, share to your pastor, share to your friends, share to your school groups, and let us all learn. If you have any question, you can put it in the comments. I will forward it to. I mean, coach is on my page, so he will also see it. And if he needs to respond, he will respond. The ones that you want to book a one-on-one with him, please get in touch. Go to his page, his name on social medias. I mean, coach, you can give us our social media handles as well. Once
Oh,
again,
if all the platforms, when you put in the art symbol and you type Coach Scoffrey, all
yeah.
together, no space in, I
Yeah.
pop up, whether it's Facebook, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's
Mm.
TikTok, whether it's Instagram, whether it is
Yeah.
Twitter. All that you need is just type Coach Scoffrey, and
Good.
there'll be a pop-up. If you type
Good.
Scoffrey, there'll be a pop-up. Just so that sometimes when we also write and share, people can get
Yeah.
to know what else we are doing elsewhere.
Exactly.
So thank you also for the awakening you have, such that unpopular themes are
Yeah.
what you understand to bring to your audience. You see, unpopular themes, like when you say relationship and it's not sex, it is
Mm-hmm.
not romance, it does not
Yeah.
get the eyeballs.
I
But
know.
we will get there until we get this
Definitely.
foundation right. Getting there becomes
Mm.
like the usual everybody is doing. And I'm not
Doing.
after the usual. I am
Mm.
after the extraordinary and the unusual. So lives can
Exactly.
be affected. So thank you also for the opportunity, Mr. O.
Thank you so much, Coach. So we appreciate your time so much. We value it. If any of you wants to connect with Coach, please, as he said, go to any social media handle and you get his contact. If you want to have a one-on-one interaction with him, please reach out to him. If you want him to be your personal coach, if you want him, you are in a certain condition, you need certain guidance, please reach out to him. I mean, he will tell you he's not a counselor, but he's a coach. There are two different things. And
Of
I
course.
believe, I mean, even if you are a professional, a non-teacher, a pastor, a CEO, whoever you are, I mean, he's trained a lot of them. He has a training. Do you have the training coming up? Do you have the flyer? I forgot you could have shared the
Yeah, we
flyer.
have a training we are still working around with the Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration
Okay.
University, where we're
Okay.
soon going to start the advanced certificate in leadership and coaching for
Okay.
C-suite and above, people in leadership, for people who want to lead others. So imagine
Good.
how this will be for them. So those who are interested and you live in Ghana, let's do this together when opportunity comes.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful. So if you are in Ghana and you want to learn more, you want to get more of coach, please go to the Gimba website, or I mean very soon he'll be sharing the flyer with me. I'll put it on my page as well, so you can connect and you pay and go and learn, because I believe it is good for us. I mean, the Bible even says learn to show thyself approved.
Of course. Of
Yeah.
course.
So people, we thank you, or coach. We'll definitely see you again. And we know this page is, I mean, you are just a friend to this page. You are a boss of this page. You are everything to this page. And we appreciate you so much.
Awesome.
People, I thank you all for watching with us. I mean, for being with us and for sharing this. And yes, you can watch the replay, Eunice. You can watch the replay. So we'll interact again another time. All right. And let's keep learning and let's keep growing ourselves. Have a blessed Saturday. Have a wonderful weekend. And I'll see you when I see you. All right. If you have any questions, please share it in the comment section and we will talk. Bye bye.